What's up, guys? Today I'll be discussing a topic that a lot of you guys actually wanted me to talk about, and it's basically how to learn any skill that you want. It is something that, for many reasons, you probably want it, because who doesn't want to learn any skill? And this is something that I've consistently learned how to do, and in these 6 steps, I'll teach you exactly how you can do the same, apply it to your life, and get the results you want. So step number one, step zero, before I even get into the steps, it would be to remove any limiting belief that you have. And whoever told you that you can't learn this thing, if you're slower at math or you want to start a business and you can't, whoever told you that you're not like that, they're basically lying to you, because if I'm being completely honest, you can learn anything. And I mean anything. In case, even if you're neurodivergent or there's something like that, with enough effort, you can learn something like that. If you're introverted and you want to be extroverted, there are plenty of people that were able to go from introverted to extroverted. So this can be applied to basically anything. And just the first step I would want you to do is to, even for a split second, even for this video, any belief that you have that it's not possible to learn the things that you want to learn, just throw out of the window. Because the moment everything starts with you believing in it. If you can't believe in you actually having an outcome, then you definitely won't have it. That's for sure. So step one is to basically know someone or find someone that has already achieved what you want. That's very, very basic. Why would you be listening to someone that hasn't achieved the thing that you want to achieve? That is just stupid. And part of the reason it's such an important step is it's very self-explanatory. Why? You want to be very, very specific with whose advice you're following. Not just a random guy's, not your uncle, not your grandfather. Of course, you respect your parents enough to listen to their advice, but there's a difference between listening and actually implementing. So find someone that has what you want and implement exactly what they say. That's step number one. It's super basic. Step number two is study exactly what they did. They might tell you some advice, and you're going to come across this on the internet a lot, is you're going to have someone that says something, but what they say versus what they do are completely two different things. This is extremely crucial, because when you have a mentor, when you have someone you look up to, you have to watch what they do versus what they say. And if those things are so unaligned, then they're probably not that reliable. The best mentors that I found, they practice what they preach. Everything that they do, you probably will have to do as well to achieve the goal that they want. Because if you're following them and you don't want what they have, why are you listening to them? This is a rule, this is on the side, but this is a rule that I always keep on my mind. And I always ask myself this, and it's always just staying in the back of my mind. And it's this idea that if they don't have what you want, why are you listening to them? And this might sound extreme, but a lot of people love to give advice. They love to tell you this, they love to tell you that. But if they don't actually have what you want, why would you listen to them? There's absolutely zero benefit to that. The amount of times, I'll give you a really good example. When I was in New York City, I was walking around in downtown at Times Square, and you would obviously see a bunch of homeless people walking around there. I don't know if you've been to New York City, but I have a couple of times. And one of those times I walked around, and this one guy in the subway, when I was there, he looked like an absolute bum. And he was giving this other guy this advice, with such conviction, And I was thinking to myself, I'm damn, sooner or later, some absolute idiot is gonna follow through on that advice, And it's just funny, don't follow advice from a person, even if the words sound right. You know, I could tell you the most extraordinarily great advice, but if my life and my background doesn't align with the advice that I give, well, you shouldn't listen to me. So, step number one, find someone that has what you want. Step number two, watch what they did. Watch what they're doing. If you want to grow a successful business, and for example, you find out that I have that business, don't, if, and I tell you some, like, in some hypothetical world, I tell you that you have to start some, I don't know, Iman Gotzi course, whatever, like buy my course thing, like I'd be completely lying, right? What I would really want you to do is to start YouTube, to start an Instagram, start posting, start doing things that work. And the key word is action. You have to start doing. Because if I'm doing and you want what I have, you have to start doing as well. You know, if I tell you to go do this thing or like start doing high ticket sales and I'm here getting money from sales, like that's just disingenuous. Like me telling you, you have to work because I've seen success in working and you see that I'm working, that is a clear indicator that the mentor that you're following, the person that is telling you, is genuine. He's not just converting you into some sort of course. He's not pushing you to go buy something. He genuinely wants you to succeed because you see what he does, you see what you're doing, and those things align because he's reached this place by doing that, and you're not following what he says, you're following what he does. So step number 3, and I hope you understood that, but basically what I'm trying to say is that forget listening to people, watch what they do. I have skipped years of business and lessons that would take me absolutely years to learn just by watching what others are doing rather than listening to what they're saying, rather than listening to what they're actually saying. Because this is an extremely unfaithful market. You're going to see tons of people that basically just want you to buy their stuff. And that is not a route that I think is genuine. So don't go to that direction. And I'm not endorsing you to go in that direction. I don't want anyone to suffer the consequence of following for what some guru says and basically paying the consequence by realizing they didn't even progress any bit. Like, that's just stupid. Step number 3, go to their source material. So there's an amount of books, an amount of things that they learned, an amount of specifically accurate things that they have learned, and they've learned them not just through like generic stuff. They learned it through something, and you have to find exactly what that is. So a couple years ago, what I did on Instagram specifically is I realized how terrible my social media was, in the sense that everyone that I was following was just like some brain rot memes, garbage. Like, it was just complete, like, it was just stupid stuff. And I thought to myself, well, there are tons of successful people on Instagram. They for sure do not have this kind of feed. Like, I knew that for sure. And at the time, there was, I can't name them, but there were a couple of guys that I really looked up to that were like making money online. And what I did was I clicked on their following list. First of all, I unfollowed everyone that I was following on Instagram, and I followed everyone that they followed. And what that did automatically the next day is I started getting advice from their peers, from their coworkers, from, you know, the people that they're following because they're working with them. And I would get like, obviously I'd get advice that is like beyond me, because it's like how to scale from 10 million to 100 million. But the people that I was listening to, they were just such geniuses, and they weren't even big. You know, they weren't famous. But these guys were following the guys that have the result that I wanted. And so the thing about these guys with these elite networks is that they're very, very cautious with what gets fed into their mind. Like, they're not consuming slop. They're very particular with what music, with what videos, with everything that is coming into their mind, including the people that they're with. So if the people that they're with are of high quality, then the content of those people are as good as well. And a month has passed after that, and everything changed with how I've viewed stuff on business. It wasn't, my knowledge wasn't superficial. I saw stuff from a completely different lens because the source of the people that I wanted to become, I actually figured out. I reverse engineered it. So if you want to become like Andy Elliott, for example, and you probably don't. Like, if you don't know who Andy Elliott is, look him up. Some people love him, others think he's just a funny guy, but I have a very bittersweet perspective on him. But basically, do your own research, find exactly what books he read, not the stuff he's selling, the stuff that he reads, the stuff that he watches, the seminars that he goes to, because that is what made up him. Everything that you want from a person, they knew a specific amount of things in order to get to the place that they want to be in. Like, they don't just wake up one day like that. And if you want to jump ahead, you're going to read and you're going to do, and you're going to take everything that they know, do, and compile it and just do it and read it and absorb it, whatever. That will put you ahead, and maybe even put you ahead of where they are, because everyone has their own disadvantages, and maybe that's where you have an advantage. And if you had the same information that they did, you would be 1,000 light years ahead of them. So find the source of what they know, where they got it, read that, apply it. Don't apply what they tell you to apply. Don't listen to what they say, because if you want to be them, if you want to be even ahead of them, you're going to do what they're doing. You're going to read what they're reading. You're going to watch what they're watching. You're not going to follow for what they are telling you to do. Maybe there is a percentage of guys that are genuinely, like, guys on the internet that are going to tell you exactly, here's what I did, here's what you should do. But most of them aren't like that. You know, most of them are backed by businesses and some sort of industry where they want to funnel you in to, you know, buy their matcha or some other garbage. So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is apply it fast. So the moment you get something, like let's say you downloaded something on a Kindle. It should not be on this Kindle for any longer than a month until you completely read the book or applied the material that you wanted to. Like, now that you know exactly what they watched or what they did or all the steps that took them to the place that they want to be, don't just sit there with it. Like, as soon as you get the info, apply it. Apply it as many times and as many times and as fast as you can, because at the end of the day, this is a race, and if there's going to be 10,000 people that are in the same niche as you that could have applied it a second earlier than you and have created some sort of competition for you. You don't want that. So become the first, do it fast, apply fast, and get the result faster. Don't rush. But the moment you get new information, you want to apply that as fast as you can. You've heard it a billion times. Everything that you want in life is going to happen through speed. Like, don't wait. Just apply and see what happens. And step number 5 is reflect and adjust. See what works, see what hasn't. You're not going to read one book and one step that they took exactly, or one mentor that they had and this one piece of advice that they had, and that would be it. This is going to take a lot of reflecting and a lot of adjustments. This isn't just do it once, apply, that's it. There's going to be a lot of reflecting, because this whole process that I'm explaining is going to take some time. But in the long run, you have saved yourself years. Like, genuinely. Like, I do not want to underemphasize that you have spent so much less than what you would have because you just saw, okay, this person has this thing. I want that thing as him. I know what he did. I know where he got the information to do it. I learned that information. I applied it. Okay, that doesn't really work in 2026. Let me adjust that. And boom. And lastly, teach it. And this is step number 6, and it is saved for the last, very specifically. If you look at the pyramid of understanding, I believe it's called, the top of the pyramid is to teach. Your highest form of understanding something and mastering it is through teaching. What that means is you have to teach it. Like, that's as simple as possible. So like, once you have everything, just like I'm explaining this video to you, the reason I'm explaining it to you is so I can master it. I'm not just doing this like to, I don't know, for no reason. I want to master the ability to learn new skills. So what I'm doing is giving it to you. I'm teaching it to you. I'm explaining it. So if you want to become the best salesman, or you want to get into an Ivy League or whatever it is, find someone that has. Learn what they did, not what they said. Apply that. Find the source materials for what they did and how they know what they know now. And then teach it to others. When you start, even if it's bad teaching, when you start teaching people, there is active learning going on right now. The way that I'm explaining stuff to you right now, I'm actively adjusting and improving the way that I understand this subject. So anything that you want to learn, any person you want to be, the last step is to teach it. Someone else that wants the thing that you've gotten in the process of improving to the point that you want to be at, or to the point of you trying to get to someone else, you will actively start improving. And people, I'll say like below you, they will notice that and they'll be like, what the heck? I probably want to learn that. So teach that, give it to them. Tell them exactly how you did it. And that is the most powerful thing you can do. So if you take all these 6 steps, any person with any result, with anything ever, can be taught. Everything can be taught. Every skill can be learned. And if you think that you're some sort of introvert, but in reality, that's just a lie, because your personality is a set of skills. And you can quote this for me, but I truly believe that, I'm a believer of free will, but to an extent, everything is a skill that you can learn. If you were an introvert your whole life, that is because your environment probably reinforced you to be in this way. But just like a muscle can be grown and stretched and changed, and just like our brain can regenerate and things can just expand just due to nature, so can these things, so can your personality, so can you saying, I can't do this, I'm not this type of person. Well, that's just not true. You can learn literally anything, and I hope that you can literally become anyone, because I have, and so can you.